Welcome to Amazon Answers. I'm Jared, and today we are talking about the Phil Jimenez Wonder Woman run, aka honestly one of the best follow-ups to the George Pérez iconic run I think I've read in a long time. And this is based upon my reading of the of his omnibus, which came out I think last month is when the updated omnibus came out, because they had previously printed this, but it was like 9 years ago, so they just started reprinting. And that's the cool part about what DC has been doing, and why I've been able to examine a lot of these classic runs, is that recently, I don't know if this is due to the success of Absolute Wonder Woman, it may be, but they've been reprinting like all of their post-crisis and really well-known omnibuy. I mean, they just announced a reprinting of one of the Perez omnibus. Hey, what's up, Cameron? So today we are today we are discussing the Phil Jimenez Wonder Woman run. And the first thing to talk about with this is yet another run that gets the balance between the warrior and the diplomat to a freaking T. Like, Wonder Woman not only like because here's the thing. Again, like I say before, the problem that a lot of writers run into is they focus too much on, like, let's say the Wonder Woman is an aggressive warrior character, and not enough on yeah, that's true, she is a warrior, but she's also a diplomat, and you really can't like ignore that. But again, it's like when you read the Jimenez run, it really gets that balance really, really, really well. And it's so, here's the other thing. Here's what this run and, like, let's say the Perez run do extremely well, besides like the story, is it's drawn so well, because it's written and drawn by Jimenez. And by the way, I'm going to share my screen. And the other thing that this one really does is expands a lot of like Wonder Woman's lore. So as you can see, it's like as you read through this, it's like just looking at all the art in this. And first off, there's our girl. Look at how gorgeous she looks. And it's, again, Jimenez draws like the perfect look for Diana. Him, Tony Daniel, and Perez are my favorite Diana artists that really get that balance between the warrior and like the kind woman, if you will. And the other thing that Jimenez expands on very well is the Amazonian culture. Because remember, like Paradise Lost and Paradise Found, the books that are going to be for the Paradise Lost show, that's his. It comes from his run. And that's about an Amazonian civil war between the Bana and the regular Amazons. And he really, if you want to talk about the Amazons being like the story being about Game of Thrones, basically, it's that. It's definitely that. And the other things that Jimenez did really well, and what will be like part of his legacy, is he really expanded Donna Troy and Hippolyta's story. Because remember, at this point, Byrne has already made it canon that that Hippolyta was the Wonder Woman of World War II. Now, here's the cool part about it. Is yes, he plays with that, but he also, and here's the other really cool part about this, he expands upon it really well to make it like to basically explain how it works, how much Hippolyta inspired, and how this aligns with current Wonder Woman continuity. So there is that. And with Donna Troy, it's like, let me put it this way, it's like in his run, it's taking place around the time that like Donna Troy is killed and Hippolyta is killed. Donna Troy in a Titan story, and Hippolyta in the concurrently running Superman story, Our World's at War. And there's an entire issue that takes a break from the main story. Now, 2 issues like this are fine. 2 out of like however many, 2 out of like this many issues, I'm fine with that, because it's like it's not as infrequent as opposed to King. But in here, he talks about the legacy of these characters and what these and the history of these characters, and how they like contributed to the world. And I just really, really, really love that. You can definitely the part about this that I really appreciate is throughout this entire run, you could 100% detect the love for Wonder Woman that Jimenez clearly talks about explicitly every time he talks about his time on the character. You can definitely tell that. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind reading this run that Jimenez loves Diana and her world. And that's what we need. Again, it's like you notice that all of the well-known best runs that people talk about, like Perez, like Jimenez, like Rucka, to a certain degree, like Simone. I almost said like Simone, but are the writers that adored Diana and wanted to contribute to her legacy. So that's the key point here, is that you always is that this is what happens when you put someone on the book that absolutely loves the character and wants to like contribute to it. The other part is that at the end of Paradise Found, there's a storyline where Cersei turns Clark into Doomsday, and there's a big battle, and it causes a lot of destruction. Now, that structure originally, so that's essentially Air Force One. That was supposed to originally crash into New York. However, at the same time as this book was coming out, 9/11 happened. So what they did is they redrew it so like it's like Saved by Wonder Woman from crashing. But Superman is distraught from all of the destruction. And the following is a scene that Phil had to fight to actually keep in the book. But it's where Superman breaks down and he goes, all those people dead, I couldn't save them, I'm so sorry. And it's Diana saying, no, it's okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to heal. And I go, yeah, that is 100% who Diana is. She is that type of shoulder that will let you cry on her and then hold you close and basically say it's going to be okay. It's one of the many things she shares with Superman in that case. So I really, really, really dig that. And obviously, again, it's well drawn. There's plenty of gems. The only ding I have on this run is the Trevor Barnes character, because it's pretty obvious. I can't believe you had to fight for this. It's because they wanted to protect Superman's image of this like big strong guy that like will never break. And then Jimenez is like, no, Jimenez marketed it, if that's the right word, as no, this doesn't take away anything from Superman. It shows that he is human. And it also shows, again, that's what Wonder Woman will do to everyone. She will protect them. It's like, it's like he basically told them, look, don't look superficially at it, is essentially what she said. And you know what? It worked flawlessly with this. And that continues on with, like, again, one of the most, like, that scene alone, that one panel showed me that Jimenez understood the assignment and gets who Diana is. Because again, if he didn't, that he would have like relented. But no, he's like, no, that's what Wonder Woman will do if given the opportunity. She is like that beacon of hope, kind of like Superman. In many ways, that is her "you are so much stronger than you think you are" moment, like from All-Star Superman. This is essentially the All-Star Wonder Woman moment. And I'm like, when you take that away, do you know what that does? It takes away it takes away a moment where you can make Wonder Woman really look like, because in some ways Wonder Woman is the mother figure of the DC universe, and that's kind of what that shows there. That Cersei situation was also, yeah, exactly. Again, there's so much in that. It's like what Jimenez really got is the essentially like comforting and merciful attitude of Wonder Woman that so many writers forget about. It's like, no, it's like, I'm sorry, she's not just this warrior that's going to chop people's heads off. And if you think she is that, then you really don't understand the character and have no business writing said character. But then again, it's like a good portion of the writers at DC also don't understand Wonder Woman. So can you really blame them? But yeah, it's like, it's like it's like even in that Cersei's is trying to get her daughter, and again, it's like you understand. It's like, again, what Jimenez did really well is he also makes you feel for Wonder Woman's villains, because again, they're not overtly like sympathetic, like they're still like villains, but you understand for the most part why they would act like this. And I'm waiting for us to be able to get back to that era of Wonder Woman, because we need to. Like, I'm sorry, that is like the era of Wonder Woman that this is why I tell people, look, here's what you have to understand about Wonder Woman. And about the current status quo of Wonder. So what would you say is the theme of this run? Mercy and redemption. Not only that, it's not only mercy, redemption. It's also more of the, let's see, how would I exactly say this? It's definitely mercy, but it's also like, I guess, kindness, if you will, and it's like diplomacy, because again, a lot of this is the diplomatic UN representative part of Wonder Woman. And the other thing, it's like, this is also the run where we have the day in the life issue where Lois takes a day in the life of Diana. And like, again, we get to see Wonder Woman from Lois's perspective, which again, can be kind of lame. But we see Wonder Woman like talk at a school, essentially trying like cure cancer and diseases, go on a talk show to talk about her mission as a representative, as an ambassador, have to have a state dinner with Lex Luthor because Lex is the president and she has to bite her tongue. She knows Lex is a villain. She's fought him before, but it's more like she understands he's the president of the United States. I have to respect that. I don't have to respect the person. I have to respect the office. And we also have where like it shows like Wonder Woman like plays basketball with people. And then in Rwanda, you have like the kids that they're dying of starvation. And all she does is she just holds them. So when they die comfortable and loved. And I go, yeah, that's Diana. And she talks at the UN summit by this is Trevor Barnes, a self-insertion of Phil Jimenez. And it's like there's like a lot. This gets into like who is Diana as a woman in addition to who Wonder Woman is. And again, that's the key part. That is the thesis of this, is who is Diana as a person, not just as this godlike being. And that is why, again, this will like 100% always be like one of this is probably my second favorite post-crisis run of Wonder Woman short of Perez. Is he at least a good character? Yeah, I would say he is a good character. I don't like him as a love interest for Diana. However, yeah, I kind of dig. It's not like with Steve. Let me put it this way: Jimenez doesn't make Diana wholly dependent on Steve Trevor. He gets points for that, even if I don't like the inclusion or his reasons for being included. He doesn't make Diana like dependent upon him, like King makes Diana dependent upon Steve. So that's the difference. That's the big difference there, that he doesn't make it like that. But so that's where I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. It could be a lot worse. That's the thing. Looking at it, I'm like, okay, while I don't like it, yeah, exactly. It could be a lot worse. It's like it's like, again, when I'm what the King run made me do is go back and like review a lot of Wonder Woman content that I didn't necessarily like before, like the 2009 animated movie, or like, let's say or this or Rocco or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, it could be a lot worse. It's like, it could be so much worse with these characters. So that's why whenever I hear people critique this stuff, I go, look, could be a lot worse. Look at the King run. That's the key point here. Just look at the King run. But the other things that this run does really well is, for one thing, again, it's drawn really well. Jimenez is one of those writers. I mean, but artists that puts so much detail into a page. I'm like, how the hell did you maintain this quality, but also maintain a schedule? Your work ethic must be unfreaking believable if you can like actually get this quality at this short a time. I'm like, my God, bro. It's like, I'm like, well done. It's incredible. The more I look at that, I'm like, wow. It's absolutely like incredible. But anyway, so what other questions do you guys have about the Jimenez run? And by the way, I definitely recommend it, as if you want to like get into Wonder Woman. This is the other thing. You can start on this run, and any references he makes to previous content, he explains so perfectly. Like Hippolyta being World War II, who is Donna Troy. That's the other thing. At the end of his run, he did the entire series where he like did the return of Donna Troy, which brought her, because again, Donna had died previously, and at the end of the run, he wrote and drew it. It was a Titan story where the Titans go and save Donna from being like controlled by the actual Greek mythology Titans, and it really rectifies all of her history and really like, and brings her back to the DC like mythos. And that's the other thing. Jimenez, it's like he wrote the encyclopedia of Wonder Woman. Hang on, I'll get it quick. Like here, he wrote this. This is the Wonder Woman encyclopedia, which is like all of the lore to rectify all the confusions. All the characters that have interacted with Diana is in there. And if there's one Wonder Woman writer that I think is well suited to, let's say, rectify any confusion in Wonder Woman's lore, because trust me, I've complained many times that some of Wonder Woman's lore is freaking confusing. If there's one writer that I would trust to do this, it is Jimenez, because he 100%, in the same way that like Mark Waid is an encyclopedia on DC, for the most part, Jimenez is the encyclopedia of Wonder Woman. I'm just going to tell you that right there. The dude gets it. And this is why, for Paradise Lost or even the Wonder Woman movie, I really hope he is a story consultant on the movie and show, because if there's one and not King, because if there's one person that I would trust to understand or to adapt Wonder Woman and be able to effectively like discuss her lore, it is 120% Phil Jimenez. The dude is a magician. If he can like effectively take all the contradictions in Diana's lore and create a through line that, while not perfectly explains it in a way that I'm like, okay, I can buy that. I can definitely buy that. That works. But yeah, it's utterly amazing that, again, this is what happens when you have a writer that adores the character, because he adores Wonder Woman. And when you put writers that adore Wonder Woman on the character, look what happens to the run. Not only is it like well regarded, it is remembered for like ever. Whereas opposed when you have a writer like King that seems to look at Wonder Woman like it's a job, guess what? That doesn't really work. That doesn't lead to the run being remembered. It leads to the run being like one of the most like forgotten runs ever. And that's again why I say that when King leaves Wonder Woman, give it a year, people be like, King wrote Wonder Woman, and then it's done. Because I highly doubt Trinity is going to stick around, and I highly doubt that like a writer is going to reference the run besides to pants it. That would be hilarious if they pants it. That would be so funny. But anyway, so what other questions do you guys have? Sadly, there were a few in DC that love her. I would say I want to see like what Adams would do with Wonder Woman, but definitely it's like Adams would be a choice. Kelly Thompson is the obvious choice for someone that loves Wonder Woman, as exemplified by Absolute Wonder Woman, which I can tell you, if they put if they put Kelly Thompson on the main Wonder Woman book to replace Tom King, we're golden. There's no way that there's no well, there is a way, but I highly doubt it would get really, really, really bad about that it would really like not work well. There's no way it doesn't. I really doubt that. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the Jimenez run and all the other all the stuff he did in the run? Because he also again he created a lot of stuff. He expanded. He also expanded on Vanessa becoming the Silver Swan, because and the motivation for her going against Diana is that at this point Cassie had become Wonder Girl. So Vanessa's like, I was your close friend, and you basically, as soon as I graduated college, you forgot I existed. And it's basically like I should be Wonder. I should have become Wonder Girl. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually very true. I find that very interesting. That's actually really cool. But yeah, it's like that's the other thing. He expanded. Kelly's the safest bet, and I think DC knows it, because what we will get. Praying as her takes it. Let me put it this way: the fact that her Wonder Woman run is consistently in the top 10, at least for the Bleeding Cool charts, and then we'll see when ICV2 comes out with their sales charts. Let me see if it's out again. I might as well check. Probably not. No, all that's out there is August. But it's like, it's like, you know that with the consistency for a year of how well this does, and the only reason why you would ever drop below top 10 in terms of the overall sales charts is because Marvel books like sell really well and push it down, but it's technically still selling a lot of copies. That's the key thing. And when you have a run that gets both critical acclaim, that gets Eisners, multiple Eisners, critical acclaim, and sales, that is a writer that you need to cultivate, that you need to actually like reward with the main books. See, that's the thing. I'm a big believer that like if you that you have to earn your right to you have to earn your way to write the major DC characters, like through Elseworlds books to show that you can write them well, or to like work your way up. Kelly has more than earned her right to write the main Wonder Woman book. Like, no, more than earned it. there is absolutely no way that like I can't see Kelly at least at one point writing the main Wonder Woman book. She has earned it so much. Like it utterly amazes me how well that absolute Wonder Woman run is selling, and rightly so, because there are plenty of books that seem to sell well but don't really deserve to because they're crap. This is not one of them at all. This is a fantastic run, and I absolutely adore it. Same thing with this. It's like, again, that's my example. When you have someone that's a big fan of Wonder Woman, she can make even hardcore Wonder Woman still feel like Wonder Woman. Because it's like, again, I say this all the time about the Absolute Universe. They still feel like, for the most part, the regular versions of the characters, just in a different context. It's like, hang on. This still feels like Wonder Woman somehow. It at no point reading this does this ever feel different from regular Wonder Woman, except for obviously Wonder Woman being a witch, Wonder Woman like being raised in hell and stuff. But it's like, in terms of her characterization, how she reacts to things, her personality, it's her sassiness. That is 100% Wonder Woman. Like, I'm sorry, that is Wonder Woman. And this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Wonder Woman sells comics. You just have to give you have to put the right creative on the book. It will sell. That is the amazing part. That's what this has proven. That's what Perez, Rocca, Thompson, if you put the right creative on the book, you will get that sales. I really hope she takes over after King, main Diana. Yeah, I do think so. And at the very least, okay, so here's what I heard. Here's what I heard. I heard that in March is the relaunch of a lot of books with number ones. So that's important right there, because when you restart a number one, it's essentially a soft reboot of the book. We're stopping that story and we're moving on. That's what that is. And based upon and it's also backed up by Scott Snyder saying at New York Comic-Con, there's going to be a lot of changes to the line. Some creators are going to be moved around. Some are going to be elevated to higher profile projects. So, hey, it could very well be like Kelly being elevated to main Wonder Woman, but it's like that backs up what I'm saying. And then with the new number one, it means that she doesn't necessarily have to reference anything from the King run. Because here's the advantage of the King run. The only thing that eventually you would have to reference is essentially is Trinity eventually, unless you retcon her out of continuity. Because obviously if you retcon her out of continuity, you don't. Because as far as except for like King except for like Steve dying, there's not that much permanent stuff that has been like done in the Wonder Woman run. So that's the advantage of what we got here. Once you like play around with that and get rid of that, once you like get rid of Trinity, actually, we can pretend like the King run on Wonder Woman never happens, which by the way happens pretty much every time he writes a character. Because look at what happened with Batman. So the run ended on issue near issue 100. He didn't reach 100 issues. And the point the issue ends is what is it? The last page is Selena and Bruce at a sports bar watching a football game. And they're like all in love. They're going to be together. Literally the next issue, not only is she broken up from Bruce, but yeah, she's in a committed relationship with someone else. I love that. That's the hilarious part of this. So that's why I'm like, doesn't necessarily need to reference anything here. So, but the point is, this isn't about King. This is about, again, if they put Kelly on Wonder Woman, again, they can 100. She's an Eisner Award winner, and for the book that you for the character that you would hopefully be putting her on. So it's like there's very little advantages. Now they may not want to give her like total like, for lack of a better term, control over Wonder Woman because she's writing absolute Wonder Woman. But there's also the idea that like it's selling so well, because that's why they put King on Wonder Woman. They wanted to see if putting like the writer of Supergirl on the book would increase the sales of Wonder Woman. It didn't, arguably, but it's like if you do it this way, you also have more of a like precedent for it working. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so what other questions do you have? Okay, so what other runs do you guys have? What other like ideas do you guys have? What else do you guys have in terms of like questions about the Jimenez run, Wonder Woman in general? Go ahead, unload your questions, ladies and gents. I'm here for you. Vanessa needs to go back to normal and be a Wonder Girl. Jill needs to come back. Well, Vanessa doesn't have to like stop being Silver Swan. If you mean like written the way she should be written, like not as like someone that's like kind of in love with Wonder Woman because that's never been her character. Yes, I agree with that. But in terms of like her becoming a Wonder Girl, yeah, we are in very close agreement with that. That's why it's like I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. So you wanted to create another Wonder Girl, which that's what Trinity was supposed to be. But then it's like now it's like well, you have so many other characters that deserve it so much more than her. But no, you just decided to do that. And I go, no, that doesn't work for me. Definitely doesn't work for me. But so what else do you guys have? What other questions do you guys have? Could be about Wonder Woman, whatever you guys would like to talk about right now. What else you got? Whatever you guys would like to talk about when it comes to Wonder Woman, DC Comics. I'm still hopeful we'll get Julia back up this one. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I like to think so because it's like we haven't seen Julia and Vanessa in so long. We haven't seen like obviously we've seen Vanessa, but we haven't seen actual Vanessa, just Tom King's version of Vanessa, and we haven't seen Julia. I think Julia died though. I want to say. Yeah, I think Julia Capitelis actually died in the comics. But yeah, so yeah, at least I think Julia Capitelis died. Yeah, she wait, hang on. Did she die in there? She's deceased in the comics. Yeah. Okay, how are her villains in this run? Really well, because here's the thing. Hang on, I'm gonna take off my hoodie. All right. So here's the thing. In this run, Jimenez uses like a lot of different Wonder Woman like villains and a lot of like he uses Cheetah, but he creates a male version of Cheetah, and he really expands on the lore of all of her villains. He doesn't just use the obvious villains of that. No, he uses like a lot of like the not so well known villains as well. It's like that's why I'm like, oh wow, that's like you really did your homework if you're like you're using this villain and this villain and this villain. That happened in Rebirth, I think. However, after Death Metal, everything got rebooted, so you can bring her back with no explanation. That's true. That's true. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So you could bring her back anyway. But yeah, you could bring her back. You could, particularly with the current canon. Like this way, if she's brought back and like let's say the new history of the DC universe, it's really easy for you to do that. It's really easy for them to do that. But anyway, but yeah, exactly. It's like he created a male version of the cheat. At least I think he created that. Hang on. Yep, Phil Jimenez and Joe Kelly. Who do you think should be the main enemies or rivals to Damian, Lizzie, and John? So basically, who do you think should be in the next Legion of Doom? For first off, take Lizzie out of that list because she's not good. Because I highly doubt she's going to exist after King leaves the book. So that's the first part. As far as like who do I think is going to be the main villain? Zod's kid, Sinestro's kid. The way DC would do it is they would have all the kids be enemies. Like that's the way I think DC would kind of like go in that direction because that's the easiest. Yeah, his name is was Sebastian. He's Argentinian. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like, but yeah, I was just checking who created him, and yes, it was Phil Jimenez created the male cheetah. But yeah, but it's like, it's like, if it were smart, I would have had still like still take all the immortal like villains like Cersei and such, and have her create stuff, Grail and such. There's plenty of that you could do. That would be very creative if you wanted to do that. Yeah, there's plenty. I mean, yeah, just go with that in terms of villains and such. Just go with that. I would go with that. But yeah, I still highly doubt. Now it could happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that like it's guaranteed that like Trinity is going to go. But I'm just going to say as like I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Absolute Cheetah could be Priscilla Rich. Yeah, it's probably Priscilla because if you notice, Barbara Minerva is a member of Wonder Woman's like what's the word? It's a member of Wonder Woman's like like supporting cast in this run so far. So she's already a pre-existing character. So it's like it's most likely Priscilla. But by the way, again, I love that. Actually, let's pull up that issue. As a matter of fact, let's do that because that'd be fun. Let's do that. Okay. Let's look at that. I'll say I wouldn't mind Priscilla getting a chance to shine. Sorry, spoilers for Absolute Wonder Woman 12, but here you go. Vanessa, not Vanessa. Veronica walks through this like little cell that has like essentially felony ink is what it is, and you can see like Cheetah there. This I forget who this alligator lady is, but there's like so many. And then we come across Absolute Zatanna, who's like muzzled because her magic is done by her voice, obviously. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. And we also have Absolute Dr. Poison. So this is like cameo. This is like cameo the issue, but it's well done. It's not like anything that I have a problem with that. So you have like, I'm trying to see who's that fish lady, and I'm trying to see who is the alligator lady. But the only one I recognize here is But yeah, Karen, Zatanna versus Wonder Woman is a fight never knew I wanted. Particularly Zatanna versus a witch Wonder Woman. That's something that I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh, hell yeah. That is something that when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, I think I kind of want that. I think I kind of want that. I think I really dig that. And that's why I'm like, okay, that seems very good. That seems like a really fun, like that seems like a good matchup. I gotta be honest. It's something that I'm like, interesting. But yeah, it's like they both use magic, so that's gonna be the really fun part. So he goes, looks like you're finally going outside after all, Zatanna, because I'm gonna send you to kill a witch. Alligator is Kuka. She debuted in Yara Flores run. She's from Brazilian mythos. Oh, okay, thank you. I knew she looked familiar in some way, but yeah, she was like a character in the Yara Flora Wonder Girl series, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. Again, it's like Kelly is bringing Wonder Woman characters from like all over the run, even runs that don't necessarily involve Diana, and I'm like, oh wow, that's actually it's really cool. And that 100% shows me more about how Kelly Thompson clearly like did her homework when coming on a Wonder Woman book to make it like Wonder Woman. It's like it's this stuff like here, because she could have left Kuka out because Kuka is not like a Diana like character. She's a Yara Flora character. But I'm like, okay, you even went that far, and I go, okay, and I'm like, well done, Kelly Thompson. I didn't expect that, but it's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, but definitely a welcome one. But there again, it's like this is more of like why this run continues to sell well. It's like if you're a Wonder Woman fan, this is like again, I've said this every single time I talk about this book, but this book is single-handedly saving the Wonder Woman fan base. Like, I'm sorry, it 100% is. It really is. It really is 100% it's 100% the book by a Wonder Woman fan for Wonder Woman fans. And it's because if it weren't for absolute Wonder Woman, this would have the Wonder Woman fan base would have been broken. I'm convinced. I'm really convinced. And this book deserves every ounce of success it gets, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Kelly Thompson gets offered a exclusive contract at DC eventually. My guess is that Giganta in this can shrink and get massive, so she's even more versatile. Yeah, that's a cool idea. As a matter of fact, that's actually a pretty interesting idea for that. Essentially, like she's the absolute Ant-Man, essentially, if we're going off of that. That's actually really cool. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. That's cool. That's actually I wouldn't be surprised about that. That'd be really, really cool. And maybe let's see, what would Absolute Dr. Psycho be like? That's a good question. I would have to say Absolute Dr. Psycho is probably like, instead of having mind powers, maybe he's a master hypnotist, so he can hypnotize you and make you do whatever he wants. So there is that. That's what I think. We saw Paperman too. Paperman's in the corners. Paperman. Oh, the dude with all the papers in there. Okay, that works. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. That's, again, it's like, I don't even know who some of these characters are, and yet somehow Kelly Thompson is like, oh, wow. What else you guys got? Hey, what's up, Sage? How you doing, my brother? How you doing? But yeah, so overall, this is like amazing, and for the Phil Jimenez run of Wonder Woman, it's freaking amazing. It really is. If you guys want a solid Wonder Woman run to read instead of King, pick up Jimenez. Definitely pick up Jimenez, because it'll explain to you all of the all of the lore that maybe was confusing at first, but it's not. He's really hoping Kelly gets rewarded by this and put on the main book. Yeah, I know. She deserves it. This book is like one of the top selling books at DC. And I always say it is the best book DC is putting out right now. At least in my opinion, it is the best comic in general. Not just best Wonder Woman comic, because that's not hard to do with the alternative, but it is the best in general. The best in general Wonder Woman book. And I'm like, if you really like, if you really like, what's the word? If you again, just keep supporting Absolute Wonder Woman, and it is likely that, like, hey, at the very, because here's the thing, this selling infinitely better than the main Wonder Woman book. And here's the other part that's kind of pathetic about the main Wonder Woman book. You just had the new debut of a new Wonder Woman villain 25, and no one cares. That's the funny part about it. It didn't make the best-selling list, and I would love to see. I can't wait for the ICV2 sales charts to come out, because then we could see, because it would be hilarious if despite debuting a new villain, it dropped below 100. That would be utterly hilarious, because last issue was at 84, by the way. So that would be like hilarious if it just completely fell apart. Despite it's like, it would be hilarious if like, despite debuting a new villain, it still like could not save this book. That would be great. But regardless, essentially with the Phil Jimenez run, if I had to rate it, I would rate it a solid 9 out of 10. It gets a solid 9 out of 10 for me. It gets my seal of approval. And it's like, It's got very little BS that I would say, okay, I hate this. There are some parts where Phil kind of forces Diana with Batman, and he said it's like he prefers Batman, Wonder Woman with Batman because, and in his own words, because he's the bad boy. Which I'm like, okay, I don't think I like that, but it's compared to the other runs. It's got very little BS on that. You have a badass Grail fan. Who cares about Matriarch? Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with all of the characters that King tried to create. There are like 8 characters, 8 to 10 characters that could have like done that you could have used. You could have highlighted the Wonder Woman world that you're trying to do, and that could have 100% like gotten the same story across. But then again, remember, King had to be convinced to put the Wonder Girls into the book because at first he didn't want to use the Wonder Girls or the gods at all. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry, that's dumb. But and this is a guy that had a statue of Wonder Woman on Steve, on him. But yeah, but anyway, so that's where I think. So now let's get to our poll of next week's Wonder Woman episode. So let me do that. It's going to be a Wonder Woman week and like a lot of my content because a lot of top, but I notice Hispanics are often some of the best talents in DC, at least from what I've seen of art and series recommendations. Yeah, that's actually really true. That's very interesting because Jorge Jimenez is like a fantastic artist and stuff. Yeah, that I never really noticed that. Yeah, interesting. They are great. So there you go. So let's do this. All right. Okay, wrong thing. Not Q&A. Start a poll. All right. Next week's episode. So we could have, let's do Tamaki. I did Amazon the tag. Let's see. Wonder Woman 750. Which is a tribute like episode and such. And if you guys don't necessarily want to do a run, we could do like another discussion. Would you say Scott Snyder cares a lot about Wonder Woman? Yeah, I would. I really, after reading Death Metal, yeah, I definitely would say he cares about Wonder Woman. Because if that's the way he writes Wonder Woman, I would kind of support that. Let's see, what other things should we discuss? I've discussed all the ones that I have with Omnibuy. I haven't read all of the John Byrne omnibus yet, so I can't necessarily do that. I've done Steve Orlando, I've done Chi Willow. Actually, I can do Children of the Gods, the introduction of Jason. Actually, you know what? How about this? Wonder Woman Rebirth. And that includes like Rucka and all of the writers that did that contributed to it. And then let's go with, I did New 52. I mean, let's see. I mean, do you guys want to make Black and Gold? I have to read Black and Gold, but yes, I will definitely do that. I mean, do you guys want me to put Superman, Wonder Woman on the list because it is technically also a really good Wonder Woman story? I mean, the only reason why I ask is because I like to not necessarily I like to cover Wonder Woman exclusive stuff, but if you want me to also cover that, I can. Let's see. How about let's see, what's a fourth option that I can do? If you guys have any fourth any recommendations that I can plug into the into the thing that I can read really easy. Actually, I'll put Black and Gold in here because I can read it on DC Universe. As long as you put the issues where they fight Zanfiora, that's fine with me. Yeah, 100% I would do that because that was awesome. I would stop. I would 100% stop at Tomasi because Tomasi's one is bad. Sure, I'll put it in there. Superman, Wonder Woman. All right, let's do this. Wait, I'm going to do this. Power couple. All right, we'll start with that. Let's do that. All right. The poll is live, so go ahead and hop in there and vote. And maybe the Wonder Woman Secret Files and Origins. I love. Oh, that'll be interesting. I could go with that. So far, Superman and Wonder Woman has gotten all of the votes, including it's a big, but there's just one vote, so there is that. So go ahead and vote on that. And again, all of your suggestions, even if they don't make this list, will be included in future polls. Obviously, it's just for right now. I just wanted to include that. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about that, because while Superman and Wonder Woman is also a Superman story, it also really talks about. It also really addresses Diana as a character and where she stands with the other DC heroes. So it's actually really, really well done. And that's the one where we see the gods meet Superman for the first time. It's really cool. But yeah, Tamaki's winning. Tamaki is the one where we met Maxwell Lord's daughter and such, and Wonder Woman had to team up with Max Lord, so that's where that comes from. But yeah, so far it's 50-50 Tamaki and Superman Wonder Woman. And by Superman Wonder Woman would only be the Charles Sewell book. Just want to clarify that. But yeah, so far we got 2 votes and we got 4 people on YouTube. So go ahead and vote on that. If you're watching this on Twitter or Twitch, please go to YouTube and vote. Or if you're watching this on another platform, put in the chat what you vote for. What else you got, guys? Come on. Let's see some more votes in here. Okay, 3 votes. Superman Wonder Woman is winning. 67% of the. I love how Rebirth and Wonder Woman 750 have not gotten anything. But yeah, so far it's Superman Wonder Woman is winning with 67% of the votes. I'll wait and give it a second before we do that. Before we wrap up. But yeah, so definitely NJ Black and Gold is definitely on the list of content I need to do. So that's going to happen. So while you guys vote, I'll update you guys on what's coming out for Comics League this week. So so obviously for Super Pals. Okay, so check out Super Wonder Legacy, the live episode from yesterday, where Britt and I compared Superman and Wonder Woman to Big Barda and Mr. Miracle. And then next week, and then on Tuesday for Super Pals, Robert and I are going to be talking about our favorite Elseworld Superman, and obviously including Absolute Superman. And then in terms of Wonder Woman Wednesday, I'm going to be doing an analysis of the Zeus origin for Wonder Woman, why they went in this direction, why at first it makes sense, and why it also why it does make sense for Wonder Woman and why it doesn't make sense. I'm going to be doing a sort of an honest review of the Zeus origin itself. And then in terms of let's see what else. And obviously Comics League Dark for Under Two Capes, I have to finalize with Robert what we're talking about. But in terms of movie night, we're going to be talking about Shazam. And then for Super Wonder Legacy this week, Britt and I will be doing a analysis of 1 year of Absolute Wonder Woman. We'll be doing a year in review, and it's what our favorite issues were, what's where we could see the series going in the future, our favorite moments, our favorite panels. It's gonna be a lot of fun with that. But yeah, so I'll give the one. Okay, so now I have 5 people watching on YouTube. So please vote, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh yeah, Under Two Capes this week will be we're going to do an analysis of why the Wonder Woman video game was canceled and why it's not necessarily WB's fault. I know, me praising WB. Well, it's not praising it. It's like, I'm like, it makes sense. Let me put it to you that way. But yeah, so let's do this. So, and then, so I'll end it in about 3, 2, 1. All right, so we are doing Superman, Wonder Woman by Charles Sewell, and that's volumes 1 and 2 of the book, which is essentially Power Couple and Doom, and essentially Doom, which is basically the Doomsday story. Both of which really, really, really cover Wonder Woman's like character really well, and that's why, again, I said it on a Jim show, Jim from Weird Science. I'll be on Jim from Weird Science, obviously talking about Wonder Woman, but when Jim and I were talking about it, it's like, look, this series, like, if you don't like the way Wonder Woman and Superman were portrayed in like the new 52 continuity, this is the story for you, because it 100% fix that. I think Diana will snap Zatanna off and she'll be in our team. Yes, exactly. That's 100% where I think the direction is going to go. I'll back you up on that. I'll back you up on that, NJ. That's with this Diana, like the way she just let Queen Clea like go get away and gave her the choice of, hey, you get to choose who you're going to be. Are you going to be a villain or are you going to be a hero? Either way, it's all on you. It's all on you. Which I dig that. But anyway, so stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Steve Trevor, Steve Never. He belongs at the bottom of a hydraulic press. Zoe is from NMAX About for Life. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.